This video is about STEEPLE analysis. Professor Francis J. Aguilar originally developed the model at Harvard Business School. The STEEPLE analysis is an environmental framework in which you assess the external factors of the business environment surrounding your company or organization. It is available in several variants, including PEST, PESTEL, and PESTEL. The main difference lies in the number of factors that are included. The STEEPLE analysis focuses on the overall strategy and is essential for the company's strategic planning. The analysis examines the external conditions that can affect the company and over which the company thus has no control. STEEPLE is an abbreviation for 7 macro environmental factors used in the analysis of the environment. Now, let's review what each letter in the acronym stands for. The first letter, S, stands for socio-demographic. The second letter, T, stands for technological. The third letter, E, stands for economic. The fourth letter, E, stands for environmental. The fifth letter, P, stands for political. The sixth letter, L, stands for legal. The seventh and last letter in the acronym, E, stands for ethical. Each letter of the acronym stands for a group of factors. We now review each of the 7 factors in the STEEPLE analysis. The first is social demographic. This factor refers to the socio-cultural and demographic conditions in the country where the company is located. The socio-demographic area concerns culture, including a country's population's values, attitudes, and norms. When dealing with other countries, it is essential to understand their culture so that you can act and understand their behavior patterns. In analysing culture, we have different theories, such as Edgar Schein's cultural analysis and Geert Hofstadter's cultural dimensions. You can see both theories in videos on this YouTube channel. The following factors will always be part of a country's culture, regardless of where in the world you are. The economic system. How does it work? For example, what is the difference between China's, other Asian countries, the United States, and other Western countries' economic systems? Family relations and marriage. Is it normal to live alone, or is it more common for several generations of the family to live together? The education system. How does it work and what is the level? Systems on social conditions. What is acceptable? The relationship with the supernatural. Believe or not believe? And if believing, then in what? The second factor in the STEEPLE analysis is technological. This factor refers to various forms of technological development which may help to optimize some companies, but for others it may threaten their existence. Technological development is moving fast, which means new methods of producing goods and services, new ways of distribution, and new ways of communicating with customers and customer opportunities. Examples of new technologies are artificial intelligence and drones. We can't really imagine what artificial intelligence will be used for in the long run. Some say it will radically change our way of living. Drones have become more commonly used in recording video, surveillance, war, and the delivery of packages, and there will probably be some more ways of using drones in the future. The third factor in the analysis is economic. This refers to the socio-economic situation in the country. The financial field influences how business is done and the profit opportunities. It concerns factors such as the economic growth rate, exchange rates, interest rates, inflation rate, and the purchasing power of companies and individuals, what we also call disposable income. The economic factors can be divided into macroeconomic and microeconomic factors, respectively. The macroeconomic factors include taxation, size of public expenditure, and investments. Comparisons are often made between growth in gross domestic product and unemployment in various countries. Microeconomic factors deal with how the population's demand is distributed between goods and services. This is crucial for companies that work in the B2C market, i.e. the consumer market, and, by extension, in the B2B, the producer goods market, as a large part of the trade on B2B is derived from the development on B2C. The fourth factor in the STEEPLE analysis is environmental. All companies affect their surroundings in one way or another, and are themselves affected by the world around them. The environmental factors considered in the STEEPLE analysis are legislation for environmental protection, management of wastes and their disposal, water and air pollution, energy-efficient technologies, and ecology in society. There are continuous new demands from the political side, with legislation on reports, ESG reporting, green accounts, CSR reports, and the 17 global goals, to name just a few. The fifth factor in the analysis is political. This refers to political decisions that can affect the company in either a positive or negative direction. Political factors can also refer to political stability in the country, labour market legislation, taxes and levies. The political area analysis focuses on how your government, foreign governments or international organisations affect the country's economy. It can be adjustments around import and export policy, tax policy, legislation on the labour market, environmental legislation, political stability or instability in export markets. Sometimes the World Trade Organization rules influence a country's legislation and direct the company if it has international trade relations. Another example. Politicians from a country that is a member of the European Union can make the following decisions. They can initiate business promotion activities to provide more jobs and increase growth. They can set aside money to educate young people and the unskilled so that skilled labour is ensured in the future. They can revise the tax policy, covering personal taxes, company taxes, and inheritance legislation around companies. They can increase public investment to get more people into work and create growth. This can be investments in infrastructure such as roads, expansion of motorways, bridges, or new railways. There may also be legislation from the European Union which affects a company's possibilities. The sixth factor in the STEEPLE analysis is the legal. This refers to the laws, regulations, and taxes that may affect the company. Legal stands for legislation, and this area deals with matters such as equality, working environment, and safety, legislation on the labelling of products, requirements for product safety and consumer rights. The complexity in these areas can be high when a company trades internationally, as there can be significant differences from country to country. For example, Novo Nordisk has different regulations. This Danish drug company specializes in diabetes and obesity treatment and is seeking approval for a new drug in Denmark and the United States. The seventh and last factor in the STEEPLE analysis is ethical. This refers to the ethical norms and values in the country that may influence the company's behaviour. Ethical behaviour is linked to the company's CSR strategy. Ethics is also about marketing methods a company uses. If methods are used that are not proper, the company may be sanctioned, or it may result in new legislation. Recruitment and hiring practices can also present issues. They can relate to equality and salary. Additionally, we can mention child labour, an ethical problem where companies must consider their practices and how their subcontractors behave. How to use the STEEPLE analysis model. When we use the STEEPLE analysis, it is essential to include and evaluate only concrete and relevant factors that are assessed to influence the company's context in the long term. There is no reason to include irrelevant factors. STEEPLE is suitable for keeping yourself and your company updated on societal developments. You are constantly forced to consider elements such as technological development, demographic changes, and the assessment of export markets. A STEEPLE analysis can also be relevant when the company wants to evaluate a new market. In practice, the analysis is carried out in 3 stages. Stage 1. Identify relevant factors from each acronym based on a comprehensive list of all 7 areas. Stage 2. Gather relevant information about the subjects from valid sources and analyse them. Stage 3. Determine which factors must be considered in future planning and focus on their consequences for the company. Here is a short example of a STEEPLE analysis of a car dealer located in one of Denmark's rural districts. The first factor is social demographic. As there is a shift from diesel petrol cars to electric cars, the demographic composition in the area is crucial. A typical buyer has a high income and is well educated. Since the car dealer area is characterized by a demographic composition with lower incomes and many with limited education, there is a need to inform about the characteristics of electric cars, their simplicity, and all the financial benefits such as the lower prices of electricity and the tax deductions on electric vehicles. The second factor is technological. The technological shift from diesel petrol cars to electric cars, and perhaps eventually other fuels, will change the industry significantly, an area that is important to monitor and act on. This means, among other things, that it is crucial to have employees who have technical insight and to assess whether the traditionally trained mechanic has the necessary training when it comes to electric cars. The third factor is economic. In the economic context, there are no significant factors, apart from the fact that inflation can threaten purchasing power and thus the possibility of buying an electric car. The fourth factor is environmental. Electric cars are categorized as environmentally friendly, so they meet the demands of the times, and Danish legislation supports their sale. The fifth factor is political. Politically, electric cars are supported by various schemes, making buying an electric vehicle advantageous, an essential argument for customers. The sixth factor is legal. The legislation accommodates electric cars by, amongst other things, banning the driving of older diesel cars and providing free parking for electric vehicles in larger cities. These are compelling arguments for customers who frequent the bigger cities. The seventh and last factor is ethical. From a purely ethical standpoint, there are no advantages or threats, so we disregard this area in our STEEPLE analysis. Conclusion of the short STEEPLE analysis. For the car dealer in question, the STEEPLE analysis shows that there are many external factors in the business environment that favour the sale of electric cars, including technological, legislative and political factors. It also shows that in the area where the dealer is located, it can be challenging to find customers who are willing to buy an electric car as it is expensive to acquire. It also shows that it can be challenging for the staff, who must be retrained or replaced. Let us now consider a critique of the model. There is a risk of overlapping factors. For instance, social and political factors can intertwine, making it challenging to categorize them distinctly. This overlap might lead to confusion or redundancy in analysis. While the STEEPLE analysis includes ethical factors, their integration can be subjective. Determining universally applicable ethical standards is complex, as values vary across cultures and context. The STEEPLE analysis treats all factors equally without prioritizing their impact. Critics argue that some factors may have more significant consequences than others. The STEEPLE analysis often assumes a static environment. However, the business landscape is dynamic, with rapid changes in technological, political, and societal norms. The STEEPLE analysis is a valuable planning tool that assesses external factors affecting an organization's operations. In summary, while the STEEPLE model provides valuable insights, it is essential to recognize its limitations and consider complementary approaches for a comprehensive analysis.